What is going on, guys? Today we're going to talk about whether you should become overemployed right out of college. Before I get into that, if you do want to become overemployed, check out the Overemployment Masterclass linked in the description box and the pinned comment down below to learn how to become and how to stay overemployed. Okay, so let's read this post and then I'll give some feedback whether I agree with it or not. So listen up, you bright-eyed college grads. I know you've just waltzed out of academia with that brand new degree, thinking you can conquer the world. But let me slap you with a dose of reality. Overemployment is not for the fresh out of the gate. First off, OE is a beast and not the cute, fuzzy kind. It's the kind that requires experience, finesse, and a deep understanding of the working world. It's not just some fancy dance you pick up on a whim. It's a tactical, strategic game. Completely true, guys. Working in a corporate environment is not just about having the skill set. It's about playing the corporate world and the politics. What you've learned in college is theory, and while that's valuable, it isn't anything in the face of real world application. The workplace isn't just about what you know, it's about navigating office politics, understanding unspoken protocols, handling different personalities, and so much more. Trying to manage that in one job is hard enough, let alone multiple jobs. So, jumping into OE right after graduation is like trying to play in the big leagues when you've only just learned how to hold a bat. True, you're going to get schooled hard and not in the fun, here's your diploma way. So, for the love of all things sensible, stop asking about diving into OE straight out of school. Cut your teeth in the real world first. Consider if it's for you, if you actually get along well, and then relax for now and just learn how the game is played. Okay, guys, so I'm going to give 2 points here, two main points of why I agree with this post. So, the first point is basically what this person already mentioned, the fact that even if you've had internships, being a full time employee in the corporate world is much different because you actually have much higher expectations on you. Even though you'll obviously have less expectations compared to your senior counterparts, people will expect much more of you compared to being an intern. And you have to learn the corporate world. You have to learn how to do things to market yourself well in your position in terms of your performance and the things you accomplish. You have to learn how to communicate well and how to not use people but leverage people and get help when you need it, things like that. So it's a whole different game compared to just being in school. Let's say you're writing code, it's much more than just writing code, right? It's real world products, and that corporate world is brand new to you. So the point two is actually the more important one in my opinion, because I think in reality you don't need that long to actually learn how to play the corporate game. I think within 3 to 6 months you can get a very firm grasp on how to play the corporate game, and past that is kind of just maybe micro things that you'll pick up over the years. But the main point, I think, of why you should not become overemployed right out of school is because of this. Right when you graduate, it's not easy to find an entry level job. And when you do find one job, I would recommend that you are grateful for that job and you perform as highly as you can in that position. Because one, you'll gain great references for the future. And secondly, you'll be able to leverage that job for the long term. So let's say you get out of school and you do become overemployed, maybe within 2 months. You get two jobs after graduating. The issue with that is if you start performing poorly and you slip up, whether or not you get caught, even if your performance slips, and let's say you get fired, that is not a great look, guys. And the reality is, a lot of you looking for entry level positions are not easily finding them. It might take you 6 months or more to even find a second job. Let's say you get fired from both, for example. It might not be easy for you to find another entry level position, right? So that's why I recommend you perform highly as you can. And then 6 months to a year after you start that position, then start thinking about overemployment. Because 6 months to a year after your position, at that point, it's acceptable to start moving on and job hopping, right? Especially after your first job. People understand that you skill up quickly, especially in the beginning of your career. So let's read some comments, see what people are saying here. So three simple rules: never complain, never speak to HR, never trust coworkers. That's some general office politics tips, which is mostly true. Maybe the never trust coworkers is a little extreme, but to some extent, obviously, if you're oversharing, that's a good point. So this guy says, my first real office job was very overwhelming simply because it was that. Nothing about the job itself, just learning how to navigate a work environment is its own skill, never mind multiple. Completely true. It will take you time to learn how to navigate a new work environment. Okay, let's see what else is here. So I want to make a point on this comment here. So, LOL at these gatekeeping posts. OE is easy. You don't need 15 years of experience to do it. Completely true, guys. So when I say these things like don't do it right out of school, I don't mean you need years of experience before you become overemployed. Honestly, after 6 months to a year, then you can reevaluate and consider it. But I will be honest, it can hurt your reputation to some extent. So you might want to wait a bit more to kind of establish yourself. But you don't need to wait years and years, right? So he says if you can get hired at one job, you can get hired at a second. Now, that is true, but the reality is a lot of you might have difficulties finding even your first entry level job. So you don't really want to risk losing it if it took you months and months and months just to find that one position. Mhm. You need to walk before you can run the marathon. Also completely true. Remember, guys, at the end of the day, overemployment is only beneficial if you can sustain it for the medium term to long term. If you can only pull it off for 3 to 6 months, there's really no point to it. You're just going to hurt your reputation and you're not really going to make that much money out of it anyway. So you have to make sure you position yourself properly to do it in the long term. Now, that doesn't mean you have to wait years, but do it when you feel like you're semi ready at least. You're not going to ever feel fully ready, but you want to be at least half ready before you start looking into overemployment. Okay, guys, if you have any other opinions on this, or maybe you've done it out of school, let me know in the comments down below. Remember to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time.